1 year passed, and I'm basically back to where I started. Well, not 1 year, more than 1 year. So I am back in Russia, and I'm here to confess why I started this channel. Right now, I'm in the same room as where I started this channel well, it's been over a year. But a lot of things have changed, mostly for the better. I lost my little thingy, my little microphone thingy. So that kind of sucks, but we're gonna make it work. But yeah, I was talking about how I lost the little puff thing of my little microphone. I lost a little puff thing. I started this channel for 2 main reasons. Fear of being perceived. Second reason, fear of being perceived as imperfect. Especially looking imperfect, which clearly I do. You can see it in the viewfinder. If I was perfect, a lot of things would be different. Maybe. Whatever the definition of that is in my head. And I'm whispering right now because this is something I'm embarrassed to talk about, and I don't talk about with anyone. Because quite frankly, I do not have anyone to talk about this shit with, so here we are. There is not going to be anyone who's going to be watching this video. But I do have to say that if you're struggling with this too, which I think very few people actually are, but if you are, then you're alone with me. If I'm being honest with you, I'm doing this mostly to actually think through things. I got into recently a really bad habit of introspecting with AI. Still have my journal though, but mostly because I try to do work things in my journal. Now I put the introspecting to the AI. So I moved to a different room, and now I will finally show you the reason why I did all of this. There's only one reason. Well, many, but the main reason. It's because I don't like my face. Every day we are getting closer to being a cringy influencer, but that's how it's gonna go. Why am I whispering? Because I don't want to be heard. That's what. But nothing I'm gonna say here is revolutionary. And I think I'm gonna like this lighting better because it makes my nose look less crooked. So I'm here to discuss what has led me to this point in my life. I'm not here to tell the entire story, and I won't. But I think that I've come quite a long way, and what has led me to this point was this imagined idea that there is going to be a future me that's going to be somehow better. And that is both correct and false at the same time, because the only thing I have are the tools in front of me and myself, my own face. So if I want to start making videos, I'm gonna have to live with whatever I got, even if I don't like what I see in the viewfinder. If I want to interact with people, I'm going to have to accept the fact that they can see me and my flaws. They can see my pimple, my nose, my hooded eyes, my lack of eyebrows, and the redness on my face. And sure, we can work on that. We can try to hide those things. But the reality is they're going to have to perceive, they're going to have to see that. Can't hide away forever. That's why I kind of started making those videos, is because at one point I didn't want people to see that, if you know what I mean. I didn't want people to perceive me in any way that wasn't like the most conventionally attractive to society. So basically, like, imagine the ideal Instagram face. Well, I don't have that, so I really wanted to have that, and obviously, as you can tell, I can't, just don't have that bone structure. So the thing is, like, I tried to emulate it at one point, straightening my hair and stuff like that, burning it. By the way, I still sometimes like to straighten my hair. I haven't done it in over a year because I'm trying to grow my hair, so I can't go against this natural pattern to grow it. I have to embrace it and try to keep it healthy and grow it that way. But yeah, basically, I started these videos to gaslight myself into believing that I was physically, like facially, not that bad. Because for a long time I had self-diagnosed facial dysmorphia, and by that I mean, obviously, everyone, as human beings, we all are. Most of us are average. But I don't want to be average. That's the other thing. I have this fear that if in any way I am average, then I'm basically failing. But I've started to realize that I am definitely, in a lot of ways, much more average than I think. Although my life story has been quite unconventional, and I'm blessed to have this type of experience. I don't talk with many people about it because I don't think that it's really worth sharing. I mean, no, it is worth sharing, but like, I just don't think that it's like. Also, I also feel like, well, yeah, that's in the past. What am I doing now? Nothing interesting, to be honest with you. Although I guess right now I'm doing vlogs. That's what I'm doing. I'm always doing something. That's the reality. It's very rare for me to not be doing anything. Um, my issue is that still, when I was okay, speaking about looks, I wanted to be perceived as perfect from all angles. Obviously, I don't have that type of face that is perceived perfect from all type of angles. Like, I want it to be perceived from far away as really beautiful, and from up close and everything like that. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to be beautiful, but at a certain point, it kind of eats at you. So, and you have to live with that. Like, there's always going to be girls with prettier face, better hair, smarter than you, richer than you. You know, it's like the reality. And in general, people, not only girls. Um, but I think, yeah, I have this like obsession that I would be able to achieve somehow perfection, and it started really with a superficial thing like my physical appearance. I'm like a squirrel, and I want to say that there is like, because there's a lot of manifestation content out there that is like, oh yeah, be that girl or whatever. I don't even know what even is that. Like, who is that? A consumer of things? Me as a person, I love shopping. I love buying new things. I love gaslighting myself into thinking that I'm actually pretty. But like, the thing is, yeah, and there are certain times when I get like obsessed with that. I will find like a certain thing, and I'll like, then I will think about buying it. I won't buy it right away. I'll be like, I want it, I want it, I want it. Don't buy it right away. Usually, I wait until it's on discount. Usually that works. But anyway, the thing is like, I don't really know who I am, and I think that's what made me so obsessed with really superficial things, like how faces look like, you know. And I've been told several times in my life that I have unconventional looks, which really digs deep, you know. I think like when I look at pictures of others that others take of me, like right now I'm holding the viewfinder, I can see how I see myself, not necessarily the most accurate depiction of reality, I know, because it's a selfie camera and I have good lighting right now. If I turn to worse lighting, you can see I look messier, you know? So those type of things, like when you can't control how your face looks like in certain light, if your nose becomes more prominent or the shadows under your eyes are more visible, then of course you kind of spiral. Well, I spiral about it. I used to spiral about it a lot. And because there are people who don't have those features and who will look good in basically all lighting. And I know that that makes me seem like a control freak. And perhaps in some ways I am. But I think I'm actively try to control my situation and what I'm doing and how I am seen by the world. That is the truth. Right now, one thing that I'm really insecure about are my nails. The nail beds are very short, and I don't like that they look unmanicured. But at the same time, they kind of match my look, which is inherently unmanicured. Because when I first started this, my goal was to like how I look like with you know with nothing. Because I was always like, well, if I'm not pretty, well, if I don't consider myself pretty, with nothing, no makeup, no nothing. Right now, I mean, I have hair products in my hair. I have hair gel and hair conditioner, so it's not like I'm completely productless. Yeah, I guess in that way you could say those products they enhance my natural features. Like I'm not using products to straighten my hair. I'm using it to enhance my curly hair. And like, but there was a time when I was trying to blow dry it straight, so I buy a bunch of products, really expensive products, and I would blow dry and I would do like a blowout. Then I'll get really frizzy by the end of the day. I mean, my hair already gets usually frizzy, but like at least it's curly hair, and then it would like curl up. But there was a time when I was really trying to delete everything. Like I went crazy, so I kind of started to like, okay, well, I'm not gonna wear any makeup, not doing anything. But I think like embracing your natural features means, you know, working with what you got, right? So if you want to do makeup, you do makeup, and that's what I've been doing recently. Is I've been more um, allowing myself to just wear the things I want to wear, even if I don't feel 100% beautiful from all angles, and I hate myself in certain light and certain angles. I still try to do those things, especially if it feels awkward, because I'm a person who really gets easily embarrassed and feels really awkward because of this idea that there's an ideal which there isn't. And yeah, there's still days when I still want a nose job. And I think about like, oh, I want to like maybe have facial balancing fillers or something, and maybe eventually want to like start straightening my hair again and like looking a certain way. But then I'm like, it's kind of boring. But no, I'm not like saying that I will never get a nose job or something or like some procedures. I probably will. But for now, self acceptance, self love. And now I'm continuing this with makeup on. Lack of perfection is what makes people interesting. This is how we're gonna record now my videos. I have finally understood why I delay living. Because there's this fear in me that even if I tried my best, like if I gave my 100%, then it still will fall short. That's the real fear. And I guess in some ways you could call that narcissistic. And guess what? There's nothing wrong with that. You just gotta live and make do. Make do of what you got. Again, talking about fear of perception, fear of the camera, fear of how the camera portrays you, and that you will see the truth. But the truth is also feedback. Right now, I'm sitting in the comfort of a house, not my own. Nonetheless, in the comfort of a house. Next level for me is to be able to speak like this in front of the camera outside of my house and to see it, to get feedback on it, to speak with substance. I guess right now the words are pretty empty, and I no longer know what philosophy I'm living, even if I don't have a philosophy. I just go and I do something, I record, and I get comfortable with being perceived. and gets easier. Growing up, I did get a few comments about my appearance. I did have quite an awkward phase. I also did have some things happen to me that caused me to see myself in a different light. That being said, no one is nearly as harsh as I ever was at that time. And sure, this is acceptance of average, but at the same time, this is not an average life. And physically, I guess I'm more happy with where I am now than before. Sure, in certain lighting, I think my nose is very big and everything's just doesn't look good. But at the same time, we're growing and we live with that. We don't have one feature that makes sense, but everything makes sense together. Anyway, what I want to say is that I don't want to say anything actually. There's nothing to say. This is just empty words, and I'm probably not even gonna edit this video correctly. This is the start of my Russia vlog. I'm gonna show you a little bit of what I'm gonna do, and hopefully get better.